Hello Tech Genius, I am Ravi. Have you ever imagined a place where learning is as dynamic as the technology shaping your world? Then here's a deal. With iMatix, you can make sure the learning is exciting, impactful right from the beginning. You have interactive sessions with expert-led courses. In the world of tech, from data science to cloud computing, it's not just about a session, it's about doing, building, learning by solving real problems. So let's get started. I need to cover one thing regarding the zero trust approach. Right? Let's share my screen. Are you getting any interviews lined up on? Do you have any other component in other product as well, like SailPoint or Cyber? SailPoint, I have a little bit knowledge but not that much. I guess there are many opportunities. Basically what happened here now. Forza kind of being whenever these both days are measured at the time. Forza is coming into the picture. Mostly coming days. There is no pinger. The time they will book recruitment will come. The bulk recruitment confirmed from other companies or from Ping itself. No, these are ForgeRock only. Why? Because now Ping only access management and Ping Forza is access management and identity management and gateway, and every component is there, right? Right? Nowadays, excitement is more out of the scope. MPO and the projects are turning to the Forza. In this scenario, Forza came and Ping. Both are same, right? Similar tool. All the best. In India market, Forza is the best or SailPoint is the best. I guess in India both are here, but I guess SailPoint opportunities are more. In US I see Forza is more. In Europe market, even like Forza is less, I guess. The SailPoint they want overall like identity access management mostly. In market Forza there is no one knows. But now lost, a lot of people are coming to the Forza web scaling to the Forza. You get your project in your current company. Still looking. You can. All the nation is going on in market. All TCS, we provide all these companies. Turning to Forza, data migration, right? See how it goes. And how the US market, like I heard in the new like economy, is going down. Not little. 9% down. You are on visa working with over there, or like it's only some natural news? You are trying to like get a green card over there already. How much time it will take? It will take 100 years. I heard in the news, but how can under? The image is just for a queue lineup is much. That's why. and it is almost the but these guys are using a C, C++, stay till now. Work is not going fast. But there's also another reason, and then political issues. It's not easy to survive there. You made a bachelor. Then you can. Let's see. Can you give me to share screen? And you look at, I need to cover the zero. What was the zero trust? We have already touched that. We have already worked on it for, like, if you see the push authentication password, less push authentication and web authentication module, right? That are the part of the how we implement the zero trust in for your access management. But we haven't discussed what is actually the zero trust security and how it's implemented. What's the use of it? Zero trust in IAM is like, this approach is a security that assumes like no user, device or service, whether inside or outside the network, should be trusted by default. Even with the if you have username or not, your username is database, something or record. They won't trust you by default. We are an internal member of a company they want or outside member of the company. They will treat them equal. Every services they will treat as equal. They won't trust anyone by default. Everyone need to verify, even not verified ones need to verify it continuously. And the resources is granted based on their identity verification. All real-time risk assessment, they keep on doing this analysis on them. How that there is not be a data breaches. There's not to be anything like there. They can leak the knowledge, right? I feel that that's where it comes to zero trust approach. Zero trust approach, a security in a forecast management, where they basically, in general language, it's a simple they don't trust any of the services, any of the product, any of the user inside, outside, contractor, non-contractor, permanent employee, non-permanent employee. They will treat every one of them as an equal. That's what's called the zero trust approach. What are the main principles behind this zero trust approach? One is continuous monitoring and validation. That what I'm just telling, right? If you see the parts of fellow, while we are using this monitoring and validation, right? There are zero trust, they are zooms, their records both within and outside the network. Even if you are within the company, anyone can try to breach something, or they won't try to harm the company, or they can send the data outside. No user-solved machine should be automatically trusted. Zero trust, verify user identity and privileges as a device identity. Logins and connection timeouts periodically once established, forcing user to continuously verify. You remember, in session management, I have informed you, right? We have a limited session time, right? 30 minutes, and then after 30 minutes they need to, or we can set that time over ourselves. They need to read, and they will ask after that session time over. They need to re-log in or re-authenticate as well. That is one of the way to make you forcing the users to time out the connections once their session is over. And what then? There are devices as well, and then ask them to re-authenticate that they will be verified. Whoever been working on continuously, the same person is working, right? And they are saving those information on the audit log, right? They can keep on monitoring and validation over there, and they can check that. And another one is a least privilege. Another principle of zero trust is least privilege access. This means like giving users only as much as access they need, right? Just like any company, if you see it, any company or any defense company as well, they give only information to the need to know basis, right? This is minimum as much as it means to say as much as minimum user exposure to the sensitive parts of the network. If you're working in a company or working in a high-end sensitive project like we are, the way we would like it, like some of the major, it goes for the defense company, right, where the access things taken as much sensitive, right? Even one information leak can be trusted to die, even for the company, for the country, right? It can give expose. It can expose our sensitive knowledge to the other companies, other enemy parts of the country or other country. We need to implement this least privilege. That's another part of the zero trust approach. If you see in a Forge like how we did, I showed you the policy admin access, right? We can give all those limited access to the policies, least privileges. We have this, if you could read and that on, and you just showing it to you. If you go to the end, it did and groups, right? We see this one. This privilege is said we can decide what privileges we can give up to that one, which each user or with each group we can have the members and tell which privileges that make you. We can go to the only read access, layer, log, write access, log, read access, write privileges. All these access. We can define that all content, then least privileged access. Means we are giving only users as much as they need. If they need more information, we can update our head information. I did update. They give them more information. If they don't remove it in the future, we can just remove it from here and they will not able to access all those infirmities. And other is device access control. Zero trust not only comes for the users as well, it also comes for the control on the device access as well. They need to monitor how many different devices are trying to access in the network and how the user is also connected, right, with the device which is connected. Are you connected with a phone? Are you connected with the iPad? Or are you connected for the laptop? Or you're connected with the multiple machines, right? They need to access it and they need to verify it, all the devices simultaneously. That's when device control is come. Remember, we have an authorization, we have the device code, right, that from there we can control all the devices from the ForgeRock. And one major and another one is the multi-factor authentication. This one, which is a major use for the core value, we say for the zero trust check. Because with MFA we have more than one piece of evidence to authenticate the user. How we can authenticate the user for the evidence, right? Either you can go in a ForgeRock, how we have implemented. If you see this push authentication journey, right, this passwordless authentication journey, web authentication journey, if I go to the push authentication journey, in push authentication journey must have a tree, right, in push authentication journey. If you see, we have this node we have created, right, where user have to log in for the username and then then go to the push authentication for click on push, and this multi-factor authentication will be verified, means the user will be only be verified, will be trusted once they move to the multi-factor authentication. That's a part of the zero trust approach. Even then if we don't want to trust the username, right? Can you write down one node? This journey, one or two journeys, can you write down? Please start your need trees and nodes in where, in including the into anything. Sure, I learned it. You want to add the start, generate from start journey and just one journey. Or edit now. I guess I showed that with the password lines push authentication journey. If you, with this one, we have one more. If you remember, I'm sure we have added here. The weather and I did passwordless push authentication journey. It's the same, right? It's all same like that. I'm a few authentication. We have once we have done the push because we need to configure the push authentication. Then we have the password less authentication journey. In password less authentication journey, copy the open this one. I'll show you in document list. We have done that. I guess this one I'm not seeing in a PPT and add it otherwise. If you see this one password less authentication journey, right? If this is the password less authentication journey, this password less authentication journey, what does we configure the authentication trees, right? Before that we configure this authentication tree, right, and we need to it, and then once we done it right, then for passwordless, when authentication for requires we enter the user ID but not their password. With the only user ID and IAM sends push authentication to register device you for the password. Less journey means the password won't be required for the user, only he will be. Once you add the username, he will be directly asked to test the push authentication. That's called the password. Let's push authentication password. Let's push authentication journey. But for that first we need to create the push authentication journey, normally with a username and password with everything. And then we need to create it because we have already done. We just need to create this limited nodes, right? We need only result as well. This push result verifier, that's from the password less push authentication journey. Push authentication journey and the password less push authentication journey is, you can say, on same as well or different as well. Same I was saying, because for password less push authentication journey, push authentication should be implemented first, and then you can able to make the password less, right? And that's a part of it. But there is one limitation for the password less push authentication journey, like when authentication to password, the users enter the user ID, not their password. IAM sends a push authentication to device to complete the authentication, right? But we need to see like who is the user ID, like we will be even if somebody get your user ID right by mistake or by chance, like or by somebody tried to hack it, they get your user ID, that they can keep on hitting it, right? They can keep on hitting with the user ID again and again, and you can get this push authentication request again and again multiple times. Maybe they will. They can try to harm your system or harm your user ID. If they can keep on doing it, then your user ID could be deactivated or could be locked out, right? This is one of the limitations for the password-less journey, right? This one. First, what I am discussing over here, for the zero trust approach in ForgeRock, if we implement by the passwordless of push authentication journey and passwordless push authentication journey. For the passwordless push authentication journey, we first must have to create the push authentication journey, right? And then another way to do it to web authentication journey. Web authentication journey also is a part of the zero trust approach. We have done that. Where users web authentication journey we discussed. That's where users can authenticate device such as fingerprint scanner, or they can get the passphrase right when you scan it. User communicates with authentication device. For this one also, this also used for the zero trust approach because we don't need to put the username, use them directly, or even if you put it and then you need to have to add the multi-factor authentication to their device, could be attached with the scanner. They can. Device can be tested with the YubiKey code. Their device can be tested with the passphrase on their system. They can test their system. They can test the user. That's the zero trust approach. Zero trust approach, it's not like that. They don't trust anything. They will only trust once. They will verify. You need to confirm or verify them again with a different way of them, like a C. This is the user and then the real user, and I'm approving myself and verifying myself as a system is designed to confirm you like I'm the authenticated user. That's where the zero trust approach, the company will not trust you. You need to keep verify things as they ask you, and then you need to do that multi-factor authentication. If you don't do that, they will throw you out of the system. They will lock you and they will not trust you. They will only trust you when you do all those authentication journeys, complete all the way they ask you to complete. There is zero trust approach. If you see in your company or other companies as well, they are removing from the password as well. They go for the PIN code, or they go for the push authentication, or they could go for the face authentication right directly. That's why that's a zero trust approach that most of the companies are moving to this approach. Even in my company that I don't put now username password, I just go for the face authentication or PIN code. But I don't know why they don't trust with the password but trust me to add a PIN code. Even a PIN code, like I have to remember it and add it just like a password, but they still think it as a zero trust approach, and I don't understand why they are using the PIN code as a zero trust approach or something. But face authentication, I understand face authentication only whoever uses it. PIN code means it's like a OTP, right? It's not like an OTP. There is a like set of PIN. If you PIN code, if you go in the bank, right? They ask you to log in with the PIN, something you remember, right? That's a PIN code, but I don't know why they use it as a PIN code. It's like a password, and even if password is little difficult to other member to see what password you are entering, even if you are entering the PIN, anyone can see it. Similar. Maybe they're using the PIN code as well for as a zero trust approach, but I know I don't like it. I am, but I like what? The face authentication is good. Or scanner is a thumbs up scanner is good for the zero trust authentication approach. That's good, but they have the PIN code. I'm not sure how long they will be able to trust it. But if you see these authentication in your real time how you're going in a company, right? Or that's what you will able to understand more how they perform internally of these authentication journeys and purposes. This is about the zero trust approach that we are using. They can also ask me, they will ask about the zero trust approach, not regarding the Forge job, but they will ask you the zero trust approach in general interview question like what's the zero trust approach? Because it's being keeping by and zero trust approach, how you can implement it. We'll just know what's the zero trust approach, what are the key things in zero trust approach, and you can tell them we can implement by the push authentication journeys, password as switch authentication journeys, web authentication journeys are the way to implement the zero trust approach in the VIA for sure. That will be the limited answer. Then they can ask you what's the push authentication journey. Then they can ask you what is the web authentication journey. Then they can ask you this is a multi-factor, because multi-factor authentication is a part of the zero trust approach. We can use that. You can tackle those questions like this. And I guess regarding the interview questions, I'll add the ODC and everything I have added. Resource owner auth 2. I have added this one. I'll add the 3 part of an eating tree. I have added the multi-factor authentication, but I guess I didn't add the flow. I'll add it for the push authentication and all authentication. I'll add the flow. I'll add it more in detail today. You will get a full list of interview questions. This is, I guess, what you have. What is a Planet Pro? Remember that this one is also important one. They will ask you what is this one. This is the by default cookies created, right? What is the name of it, right? Session cookie name. How do you can change the session cookie? This one, I guess not this one. I have added a collector, what a decision or collector, not single outcome, not multiple nodes, and this is a common utility node. What do you mean? What are the utility nodes they can have in a tree? Value at all, right? They can ask between authentication tree and chain. Authentication chains are the legacy feature. We can say each chain is predefined with step is authentication module. Authentication chain are the more than effort to intelligent authentication. They allow for dynamic authentication. Authentication chain consists of such as in fixed linear sequence like verifying password authentication to little graphical or node based. Like step and steps nodes can be a branch. Users pass through each module in chain sequentially the process equally little widget. Right where user transfer the tree based on the input and the condition defined in the tree. The flow is dynamic. Limited flexibility you have in a chain and the highly flexibility you have in a tree. What is the multi-factor authentication or the different types of it? Why the MFA considered as more secure? How you can check? If they can also, how do you check? Ping me presenting. You know that, right? Is a live.jsp. You can check. This is an example. how to configure them session, they can ask you, is there any like easily.js, similar kind of JBoot also? Same kind of JBoot, I don't get you. Same URL slash JBoot something. Is there any endpoint? JGoT, you're saying haha. Love. I guess we want to check the JWT URL. URL. Check in the system JWT URL. Basically, it will tell them job web token information. URL. URL. L. Basically for this one is your endpoint we can use to check the OIDC or no. Get rid of things. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that. Basically for the token verification or validation that this URL we use. Basically for the token verification or validation that this URL we use. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that, I guess. This is our token JBook URL you have. You see, this is how we can connect with the JBook URL. It have the list of what are the keys we are using, right? This is basically This is used for the in order to an open ID that refer to the JSON website key web, JSON web key set. This will provide us all the information regarding the keys they are using. That RSLAC, then all this information when a client interacts with authorization server to use the JBook URL, and we can connect with this JBook URL language. I'll add in 2 questions and we can discuss more tomorrow. I'll go through that because this will relate it to this OpenID configuration. Then we discuss it. Then I'll show that the JBook URL over here. It has all this. I'll just go through this one again tomorrow. That's why I'm over there. I'll add into the current version. This is basically the URL. Just well copied. You can check it on your machine as well. Just copy this one. Take it. If you are directly able to hit it. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel.